When I start work each day, I never know what I'm going to find. Sometimes I don't even know what's happening on the ground, but my motto has always been, shoot first, ask questions later. So strap yourself in for an incredible ride and see some amazing footage you'll never forget. This is Sky Action Video. Brush fires are a fact of life in Southern California. One of the first major fires I covered was in the Santa Monica Mountains in November of '83. The Santa Monica Mountains, like much of the area, are covered in chaparral. Chaparral is a short, bushy vegetation that can live with very little water. This is well suited to the dry Southern California climate. In drought years, the chaparral maintains moisture as an oily substance that can burst into flame given sufficient heat. With the right combination of tinder dry chaparral, heat, and strong dry Santa Ana winds, a chaparral fire is pretty much unstoppable. The Malibu fire of 1983 started in Agora and didn't stop until it reached the Pacific Ocean.
Refinery Avenue and Redondo Beach Boulevard. Tax 5, 1409. On their way right now is Chief Ripley, and they don't have frequency 3.
Watch out for me, okay? Yeah.
I'll get a hold of you when he wants to, okay? Okay, whatever he wants, just let me know.
The fire has jumped a fire break and right now is racing down canyon, and it's now being driven by these Santa Ana winds. And it's here that the Burbank Fire Department's taking their last stand to protect these structures. These firemen are setting backfires. Now the purpose is to burn out the brush that can consume the home over in this area right here. There we have a strike team from the Ventura County Fire Department and others, and what they're going to do is protect the home behind these trees from any fires.
I'm Chopper Bob Tur, and I'm going to take you over a wildfire that consumed thousands of acres in Malibu.
Okay.
It's over 1 mile wide, and it extends over 5 miles. So you can just imagine how large that is. It's an incredible fire situation. Terrible. Once the fire passes through, the fire danger diminishes, then they move leapfrog to the next section that is under fire, and they try to save the next set of structures. And the only reason we see structures generally burned is because they don't have a strike team on it, or there's inadequate brush clearance with wood shake roofs. So that's what we are, our fingers are crossed. We're hoping that Ventura County is moving in. Also Santa Monica, City of Santa Monica, they have a great fire department. They lend assistance to these types of things. So the cavalry comes down to the woodwork to help save homes. That's what it's all about. Portions of the fire. Mulholland actually out in this area lies in a valley that goes through the Malibu State Creek Park, and once it passes through Malibu or across Mulholland, then it starts working its way in the foothills to a mountain range that's about 2,800 feet. And over on the southeast flank is a big problem. Also on the other side is going to be Corral Canyon. Because it is moving quite rapidly. A big problem that we have is we've been restricted to 4,500 feet because there's a number of aerial tankers working in the area. But as you know, just from my knowledge of the geography, looking down to where the belly of the fire is right now, we're looking at Malibu State Creek Park. The good news is there that really it's a widespread area. There's not a lot of structures in that area. There are structures, however, maybe as many as 50 to 70. But once the fire reaches the hillside, just over by the Las Virgenes Water Treatment Center, then it'll race right up that hill. A lot of brush, a lot of tinder brush up there, and it hasn't burned in years. When it races up that hill, then we have to worry about Pepperdine. You have the dorms of Pepperdine. Then further toward the west, you have an area known as Corral Canyon. A lot of very exclusive homes. Linda Breakstone lives up there. She has a home up there, and that is I'd say 200 or so homes in that area alone, just beyond the Ransom Walrod Ranch area. So that is what I'm very concerned about right now, because remember, as the fire burns toward the southwest, it continues to spread widthwise, not just going in a straight line, but it spreads laterally. And when you see something like that happen, then you worry about structures.
Now, can we bring it back then?
We're getting buffeted by some hellacious winds right now of over 40 knots at its points, and updrafts of over 1,000 to 2,000 feet per minute. The fire is now progressing further and further toward the crest of the hill that I talked about above Las Virgenes. This area hasn't burned in a number of years. We're going to give you a better picture here of just exactly what's being threatened. I mean, I can show you big flames, but let me show you what's threatened. I think that's more important for the people viewing this, especially people that live in this area. When you're facing this, this devil of a fire heading your direction at sometimes as fast as 30, 40 miles an hour, then you can't do a lot. But as the fire's about 3 miles from Corral Canyon right now, you can start concerning yourself with brush clearance, maybe clearing some of the brush, making sure you don't have a lot of boxes, cardboard outside, anything that could ignite from radiant heat. That's one thing. The other thing that you can do is, I know years ago, a lot of people bought those pumps that are able to, you put one end of the swimming pool, the other end in your hand, and you're able to pump out several thousand gallons an hour of water. That's a good thing to have. We've seen more aerial assets arrive out here. They include water-dropping helicopters. They include the Bor-8 bombers, the Foschek dropping bombers. They also include the super scoopers. They've been able to do some good out here as well.
Yeah, we were, and we've had other threats in the past, but and we're watching this one closely as well. What's the smoke condition out at the campus right now? Well, we can see some four-level line from my office anyway, which is looking.
So the fire is now flaming up, really boiling up in an area just off Las Virgenes Canyon Road, and I say now just about 100 yards away, less than 100 yards, are about 15 homes. We have a lot of brush around those homes, and we have some wood shake roofs, and that's a recipe for disaster. We now have fire department helicopters. They're now bringing some of the water drops to this flank of the fire. I'm battling 45-knot winds to get these pictures. It's incredible. It's like a blowtorch. These Santa Ana winds are consuming the brush with those flames like nothing I've ever seen. Now the fire is working its way over to Corral Canyon, and Corral Canyon's just about, some homes are just about 100 to 200 feet away from the flames. The strike teams are in position right now. The main road, Corral Canyon down to Pacific Coast Highway, has now been blocked by fire and smoke. Firefighters are now working to stop the progression of the fire, keep it away from the homes, but it's going to be very difficult. There are a few homes with some shrubs, some trees right up against their structures. That's bad news, but the overall good news is most of the homes out there don't use wood shake roofs. They're made of adobe, and that's really good news. Now, there's a number of restaurants along Pacific Coast Highway at Malibu, Canyon Road, Las Virgenes Road, and they have been threatened. We understand now we're going to make a left turn. We're okay.
Clear.
Okay, clear. And we understand that those structures have been saved right now. A big portion of the flame now, we understand, is along Pacific Coast Highway, and is starting to spread to the other side of PCH. The winds are really whipping up down there, and as the sun's beginning to set, we have another hour or so of sunlight, a little bit less. It's going to start whipping up a little bit as well. It's still out of control. The winds have picked up just a hair, closer to 37, 38 knots right now. We see the flames now moving upslope toward the southwest. The initial moments we were here, Malibu Bowl, Corral Canyon. Now the areas that I'm worried about, Peak, the road that runs between the I said would happen at the onset. The fire has burned itself all the way to Pacific Coast Highway. Now, if we can pan the camera over to the left, the main fire edge, the main front of the fire, has just crested the Piuma Peak area, and that is the main flank of the fire. That's the area that's now endangering the Malibu Bowl area, as well as secondary fires of the homes there in Corral Canyon. It's going to be a problem because there are homes and trailers down on the other edge of that wall over Pacific Coast Highway. It's hard to get over there right now. And we can see a good view of this hill. Now, this hill has not burned in some years. This is now virgin brush right here.
Chopper 2, WAG 8 on 02.
Spreading quite rapidly. The winds have picked up a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, confirming that fire that's on the west side of Corral Canyon. That's a separate fire, isn't it?
Little moisture in the air. The rest
That's what it looks like to me. There's about 5 miles between it, and there was a bunch of fire trucks right below your camera.
And there's a lot of fire out here still working its way to Pacific Coast Highway. And so far, so good. The wind has died down considerably, although it does boil up down in those canyons, and the wind does create its own wind. 20 minutes on station. Okay, Steve, thanks. Yeah. Probably 7:10. Yes. Okay. Well, this is Corral Canyon. There's two flanks of the Corral Canyon fire right now, and this is just to the area south and east of Corral Canyon where Linda Breakstone was earlier, and the fire continues to burn. It's trying to make its way uphill. See, the winds died down considerably in some of these areas, so you see the fire burning back upon itself. That's good. Also, but in other areas, and especially this one right now, the wind is still carrying it out toward Pacific Coast Highway, and along PCH down below there are homes on the over on the south side of Pacific Coast Highway. So we've seen about 50 or so fire units pull in along Pacific Coast Highway. Actually, a traffic jam of firefighters now set up to work as strike teams and work to prevent the fire from crossing PCH and affecting any of the homes. They're very expensive homes. These homes are right along Pacific Coast Highway, and there's about between the wall of flame along PCH and the homes, you're talking about no more than 100 feet. So those firefighters have their work cut out for them. That'll be the last stand that this fire makes, and we'll probably see a lot of that, well, the bulk of the fire within the next hour to two moving along PCH. The planes are gone, and there's only a handful of helicopters still over the area. We saw, we believe, the last water drop of the evening. They're still talking about maybe working a little bit later, but as night falls, it becomes more dangerous, treacherous, and there's always another day, and that's what the firefighters need, is sunlight to bring in those aviation assets and finish off this job.
An hour after the fire began, these homes were threatened in the Montanito area. Learning from past mistakes, the homeowners had adequate brush clearance, and they had one important thing in their favor. They weren't using wood shake roofs, but adobe roofs. Fire resistance paid off. These homes were saved. Although the fire continues to burn near Corral Canyon, firefighters got the upper hand by using the super scoopers and aerial tankers to put out the flames.
For more information on registering 91K on Ocean's full line of reliable copiers, call to the dealer nearest you at 1-800-443-4668. Arson
One of the most explosive types of fires you'll encounter are refinery fires. They're often spectacular and frequently located near urban centers and very dangerous.
focused.
Actually, Bob, you know something? I'm rolling now, so let's start all over again here.
I'll do it again. Okay. Go wider now. Go wide.
Yeah. Break 5, that's Francis.
Okay. Francis.
Arson. Hey, who are you yelling at? You're so rough.
I don't know, it's in my food.
Mine must not be working. I don't have it on 5 or 6. What are we done? Were you calling me? No, I'm trying to reach RF.
They're on 3-2, I can turn it. Discover to listening to 2 as well. I hope they're rolling tape on that. Hey, Howard, you rolling tape on this?
I'm going full bore here, Bob.
We're rolling tape anyway. We have.
Oh boy, that's a pretty good picture.
Shooting. Down the hill is the trailer park. See that?
I'm at 11,000 feet. This plume of smoke behind me is now rising over 17,000 feet tall. It's incredible. It looks a lot like a volcanic eruption, and you can imagine what it's like flying overhead with the radiant heat, the winds, but can you imagine actually flying through that smoke and dropping water?